Let's speak to Sara Firth, who's live for us in Geneva. So a hard-hitting report, Sara, and both sides to blame.
Yes, both sides implicated in carrying out war crimes in Syria. This report focusing on the period last year where we saw the city of Aleppo retaken by Syrian government forces. Pretty grim reading. In the opening remarks at the launch of that report, we heard about a complete disregard for international law, and that both sides on the ground in the fighting had little fear of any type of accountability. And really the big question to come out of this report is, will there be any accountability? Now, as you said, this report looked at both sides, crimes carried out by both sides. On the opposition groups fighting, it talked about the use of weapons being used in western Aleppo at no specific military target, causing civilian casualties. It also spoke about the Syrian Air Force using chemical weapons and about starve and siege tactics. So, as I said, very, very grim reading. Now, that report is going to be submitted to the Human Rights Council. That's currently meeting here and will be over the next couple of weeks. We're expecting that report to be submitted at some point in March. And then we heard in the opening remarks them saying that, look, what the aim of this is, that further down the line, should there be some kind of tribunal, that evidence can then be used to bring those responsible to account.
But is there any optimism that that is something that will happen, that there will be accountability?
Well, it's very difficult. I mean, the report has been launched at a time that you've got the Geneva peace talks going on. It's the fourth round of talks that we've seen. Over previous years, they failed. Look, what was documented in that report, the starve and siege tactics, the air campaigns, the huge civilian casualties, that's been known for a very long time. We've seen the daily images of those on the ground, of the consequences of the fighting. What the peace talks that are taking place here are aiming to do is eventually try and bring an end to that. And what they say is that the only way to do that is to have political transition. And to get that, you need both sides around the table for talks. And that hasn't happened so far. In fact, the talks have been stumbling along, with both sides making accusations, but neither giving in and actually meeting in the same room for negotiations. So it's a very frustrating process. But what you had today, once again, as these peace talks continue, is the very grim reality, the evidence of what's taking place on the ground in Syria laid bare, the evidence of the consequences of that war in Syria.